Hello and welcome to Level39TV. I'm Ben Goldsmith and I'm here today with Hanan Lavy, who is the director of the Microsoft Ventures Accelerator in Tel Aviv. Hanan's had an interesting and varied career working on both the startup side and the larger company side. As you can tell now, he's at Microsoft sitting underneath the spectre of Steve Jobs, which is maybe an odd position to put you in, Hanan. Welcome to Level39.
Nice being here. Great being here.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for coming. And because of this dual expertise you have, you've worked in startups and started companies, so I understand, as well as Microsoft, HP in your past. Do you have any tips or best practices on how large and small companies can best work with each other?
Yeah, so small companies usually are doing things that large companies cannot really do. And not because they don't have the engineering power or the resources, it's just large companies move very slow. That's their habit. So small companies need to realize that. Need to realize these opportunities and don't be afraid from moving ahead quick, doing things that big ones can do, but they will probably not do. From the other side, big companies are looking for innovation. So big companies really don't want to do everything. They want to run in their big project and they are looking for small startups to acquire, to partner with. So startups needs to know that they shouldn't be afraid from big companies because big companies are looking for innovation and they need to run as quick as they can. That's their advantage.
You mentioned big companies acquiring smaller companies. Is that the best way that large companies can work with the startup, the growing business community, or is there opportunity for those startups, those smaller companies, to become suppliers, contractors, etc.?
Yeah, so usually it does not usually start with acquisition. It starts with partnership and being a partner, a customer, a supplier. So it starts with a relationship, and when relationship matures, and big companies find out that they really need what these startups are doing, they may acquire them. It may not be the best solution for these small companies, so they can decide if they want to be acquired or not. They can still be partnered with other companies, so it really depends, but yeah, it starts with the partnership and working together.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point that you raise, that it might not be the best thing. They can decide whether they want to be acquired. So there seems to be a culture of a lot of startups aim for that acquisition, potentially. Is that the best route to follow, or is it case by case?
It's a sort of case by case. It really depends on the founders. It's a little bit tough to be an entrepreneur. So you invest a lot of time. You don't really know what's going to happen, and if a proposal comes to the table, you need to take a tough decision. Sometimes companies prefer to take another risk. The founders prefer to take another risk and take it to the next level, so they can grow their companies. It's not a matter of financial return always. Sometimes they really want to change the world, and changing the world could be not by acquisition, could be doing it separately in a different kind of company.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you have a piece of advice that you give to a smaller company that's working with a larger organization?
They need to find the right people, so having the right network for the startup is the number one asset that they may have. So if they have the right network, they can talk with the right people. Even big companies are composed of people. So if you know the right people, have the right relationship, create value, run fast, that's the best way to work with big companies.
Okay, so have a good network of people around you.
Yeah.
Terrific. And one more thing that I wanted to ask is that I've done some reading, and if I'm not wrong, you sold your first piece of software when you were 12 years old. Is that true?
That's true.
That's true. What was the software?
It was a software to educate Hebrew speakers to speak English. I started to write some code at the age of 10, but when I was 12, I thought it was a sort of a game. So I partnered with what used to be a mid-sized kind of company. I worked with them, and I sold the software to them, and they sold it to customers, to kids, to other kids. So as a kid, I wrote software for kids. It's K to K.
K to K.
Yeah, kid to kid.
The kind of untapped marketplace.
Yeah.
In your experience afterwards, have you found any more 12-year-old entrepreneurs out there writing code?
Actually, there are 12 years old kids that write code. Even in Microsoft, we take, I don't know if 12, but we take some high school kids to help them in hackathons and write code, and these will be the next entrepreneurs, those who will found next best $1 billion companies. So we want to encourage them to do it, and it's pretty fun. They have no limitations, so they are very very innovative in what they do. It's really fun.
I always think sometimes kids are the closest thing we have to genius in
Oh,
day-to-day
yeah.
life, some of the things they say. And do you think it's important then that young kids, children, learn to code as they would learn another language, or as they would learn math, science, etc.?
So today coding is another language. So you really, not a language in the sense of programming language. You need to be part of the technology. I have 2 kids, and they are part of the technology. You can't avoid from being in that part, because it's part of our life. They see computers when they are born. They work with them, they play with them, they do homework with them. So being part of this revolution, it's part of their life. So you can't really ignore it. It's really another language. Yeah.
So this is the coding revolution.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a coding specifically revolution, but a way of how to get to react with life. Life is digital. You need to react with it.
That's a very, very interesting, I think, very philosophical note to end on. Thank you very much for coming in, Hanan.
Sure. Well, great being here.
I'm sure we'll see each other again soon.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Take care. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.